I just turned on the microphone. Yes.
Basically, it's 18 people now.
Yeah.
Look at that, pull it up. We got 26.
There are 5 guys.
No, that's 19 for this week.
Yeah, I know. That's 25, 26 for this. So
But look at the difference.
I think we need some non-biased to add up.
Even non-binary person.
No, not-
I took us both.
That's really great.
okay.
Has Bailey given her numbers yet?
No, but
Okay.
Bailey, what's your number?
I don't know right now. I just got back from my moose hunt, but I'll have it for you shortly.
Did you go in?
Yes, they want to go dogs.
Yes, we got one.
1690.
1690 SP.
So there's one now.
Sorry. Hey, it's better than 0.
It is.
We'll take whatever we can get.
Did Carmen give her numbers?
She said she just sent them, but I hasn't hit my email yet. Oh, there, I got it now. Let's see.
John Berger, how'd you get 3175?
Because I did.
She added.
Check the hot sheet, add people to our database.
He doesn't
Like
make.
13
You do
like
know,
13
you do
notes.
know
I
it's
sent-
only 50 points per 10 people at it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Making sure.
No, I don't.
13 notes that I wrote.
We also sat down, talked about goals,
Yeah,
and he sent me his in writing.
that's right.
I said that before the class started.
He needs to send me kids in writing. I want to know what you're
You
doing.
completed a job now.
I'm just loving the wife, like.
Oh, yeah,
So it was planning my day.
Do I get to count the points for planning this day?
She planned it after you planned it. She corrected it.
We have Carla's number.
Oh, yeah.
Carla's here. Bailey, where are your numbers at?
She's tallying them now.
To
The
be
boost,
announced.
Watching the blood off her head as we
speak.
So I can get that.
Yeah, all those people you went hunting with, that's face to face.
You don't get to count the moose for having coffee or lunch.
No.
Points are not per pound.
Darn, and so she would have won.
There's no way.
Did you go to church?
Yes, that's why I'm saying there's no way. Only dark people on Sunday.
That's a tough job.
Probably some of you already counted.
You talked to Steve.
I know.
We've got black shirts, guys. If you guys want to wear black shirts,
My size.
there's a 3X in there.
Oh, my.
The XL was too small.
Do you have a gentleman's
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for young people.
Yep, so it won't fit you. Got medium, large, extra large. Yeah, put it right over your and you do better.
You look good.
So we look like it really does. At least it doesn't say USMC on it. Right. What's wrong with that?
I'm with US Marine Corps, I'm too old to go back in. Oh, not happening.
I figure it's more ominous if we have nothing on it at all.
Carmen, have I asked her a couple questions? She only did 100 points for the hockey and 100 points for Thunder Day.
Sounds
I'm
good.
sure she probably did that more than one.
Yeah. Is writing an offer
Yeah.
points?
Yeah.
Gina sounds like a Linda right now. There was no home inspection, right?
Yeah.
You got more than 100 points, right? Right.
George to not have his up correctly,
That's
he
right.
just got points extra
Yeah.
for redoing.
And
so-
last week too.
Fair.
Right. Yeah, 400, it's hard to get only 400 points.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like. That's the amount of points, so like, there's no way.
I mean, it's
So I can
pretty
get
hard.
an
not
extra
to
200
get-
points because I didn't count for the week before.
I thought if you accomplish these things by the end of the
Well,
month,
okay,
you get
yeah,
that
yeah.
amount of points, it's not that you add that cumulative day per
No,
day.
you have
so-
to read the other sheet that goes along.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I realize that.
Rules.
You have to understand the guidelines.
And the
Did you
rules
add
did change.
points
Like,
in?
they're just guidelines.
Basically,
Yeah.
that's-
So-
Sometimes you color outside the lines.
I didn't see mine.
Todd doesn't understand.
As long as you get to the finish line.
Yeah,
You get under contract.
She wrote it. That's what I'm saying. Does it count for writing offers or just getting under contract?
It says specifically under contract.
Okay.
And-
Well, it'll be.
How about a
points for this
successful
next
DOT
week.
where we're getting our buyer's money back?
And I was,
Now for him, some good.
I was debating on arguing buyer's representation agreement as a contract, but I figured, no, I know the intent.
Yeah,
I had a couple of those. You don't use them, right?
I don't,
I don't
A
even.
lot of people don't. But
it's not a believer.
I built habits. It's
Yep.
hard to break habits.
Yeah.
So 2 people left, oh, 1 person, just Carl, right? And Karma, I'm not sure, she hasn't come. She's still about heavy, I guess.
2009.
I'm sorry, I'm eating.
2009? 900. I was like, you can't have an odd number.
Anybody heard from Leo? He got that 5-star review and then disappeared.
He was like, oh,
Goals achieved, I'm going to Vegas.
It's like, we will be in touch.
Yeah, no, that was somebody else. I got a 5-star review yesterday, and I don't remember exactly what it says, but it's basically equivalent to, he is our realtor. I'm like, awesome review.
Shelby was great.
I mean, it wasn't even that,
Friends.
it was like,
You have to tell them what to say.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I don't do that.
What'd you say?
You have to tell it, you have to guide them. You have to be like, hey, would you mind writing a review about how I was able to sell your house in 5 days with multiple offers? You have to guide them.
Oh, no. And I quote, overall it's good. Overall rating is good. Overall is good. His wife was not happy by the end of the transaction,
So we have
but
small-
for the most part.
You can get to it when you want.
not his, it's.
You probably need to watch me at home. 'Cause I haven't
So
watched it
overall,
yet, and you'll probably get it less great.
Yeah.
Nah.
Right.
So some areas it was a 4, maybe a 3,
I don't-
but overall a 5.
On Facebook, he posted, apparently his daughter said he's the best at it, so you got 2 yesterday.
Who was that? Oh, Leo did?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's like, I don't write the rules, like she says.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the best.
Okay,
There's a chat.
so
It's Bailey's number.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to make sure we got a farm.
We also 1,500.
She did get a, but she didn't get a.
She got the cow tag.
She got the cow
Oh.
tag. It was more for me, not
Yeah.
for the
It's like shit. anyway.
moose.
I disagree.
No, I disagree.
A female tastes better than male.
Where's can I be?
You better stop it. Caribou and moose now taste better. That's just the way it is.
I take care of
Like Vietnamese or.
Yeah.
Eat beefs. Young ones. Yeah.
Hope there's like shit. I can't do wild games. Every time I've tried caribou or moose.
Gotcha. I would talk to the chef.
So I'm still waiting for Carmen to get back to me.
We
but
have,
can-
I was gonna say, can we start the conversation or do
let's
whatever we wait?
Do 895 points, but I'm sure she probably got more than that, so I think it's impossible to get that low. Oh, wait, here she is. Okay, yeah, no, she did every day, so she says her total 2645.
2645. And so. Without using a calculator, just adding up in my head, that's about 70,000 points for the guys, right? Yeah.
How did they have more participants? What's up with that?
43,000.
You tell me we got more points, you can add it up correctly. So are these teams even?
43,000 versus.
No,
Recruit
it has to be.
59.
Recruit more men.
60.
Yeah,
They're even-ish.
Oh, I tried.
Well, the day we started, it was like maybe one or two guys short, right? I mean, the teams are pretty even.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said, where's Leo?
Yeah.
yeah, why don't you do text him and for points? He didn't have to be here,
That's true.
so figure out what his points are.
But he doesn't get 200 points, so.
Favor. Hi, Favor. Pick out your shirt, small, medium, large.
You add 200 to mine.
Okay. You got 1,000 to mine.
That's my defense.
All right, Billy, what you got for us?
Mine's 30 maybe.
You can tell the hypotenuse.
I think
You want
once
me
they
to
get
text
washed,
Leo?
the gray will come.
Really?
I did. Raise your hands if you are currently hosting open houses.
Sweet.
No, not this week, like it's part of your business practice. So raise your hand.
I host when I,
Okay,
so like I hosted one with Zach a couple weeks ago, and then a couple weeks before that, I hosted
well,
with George.
cool, so raise your hand high if you currently host open houses. Keep your hand up if you have been instructed in some way to host that open house. Sorry, if
You've been educated.
educated, if someone has trained you or.
Like
Or-
25 years ago?
Yeah, right.
I don't remember.
They gave you those 180 graders and all that stuff count too.
Yep. Okay, so hosting open houses, raise your hand high, please.
Yeah.
Put it down if you received instruction on how to do that. Everybody, Mavor's never received instruction? You haven't received instruction?
I mean, we had some instruction, but not, I would
So,
like more.
okay.
Well, Buffini teaches you,
That's true.
so.
Yeah,
And-
that's on your day's greatest.
And Bellini's gonna teach you right now. So. Yeah, but Bellini.
I have a partner.
All right, so first of all, I had all kinds of amazing things that I wanted to do, and I apologize. That I don't have the handout that I was gonna.
Use it.
Sorry.
Let's go.
Didn't pop by. All right, but let's talk about some things. First of all. How often do you host an open house realistically?
Realistically, me now with my position, not very often, maybe like once a year.
Maybe once a year, Justin?
I'm about the same, but I mean, maybe, I would say I'm at least a handful of times. I'll host to coach, and then I'll host if someone has to cancel, I will host if I need to fill in for their spot. Or if no one can host, then I'll host.
Todd, how often?
Maybe once a quarter.
Okay. When you first started, how often were you hosting?
Every single weekend.
Every single weekend.
Never.
Never, ever.
My first open house I ever hosted was for Todd.
You're welcome.
My first one was with Bill Maynard,
Mhm.
and he taught me how to do it. I shadowed him.
Mine was the one that Barry Marston that had 16 offers.
I had to call-
The appendix.
I had to call Todd because the neighbor got into like a fight or something. And the cops were having to be called.
Oh, dude, that's how I grew my business, and I was doing 4 a weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Gang girl.
Yeah.
Brian Broderick hosted every weekend without fail, with the exception of like Christmas and things, for 4 years. At 4 years, he said, I'm not gonna do another one. And at that point, he was able to have enough referrals that he didn't have.
Right, which is, I
Yeah.
think, where everyone stopped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except for Todd, he started in, I don't want to call it the twilight of your career. Okay. So the bottom line is it. Sorry. Points conversation.
Yeah,
It's important.
get it.
The bottom
Good
line
news
is that it's
I got a question.
important for you to be able to get contacts added to your database organically without it costing you anything. And you're getting people who are actively in the market searching for properties, and it's a way for you to capture a willing and active
Not like
buyer.
a cold call or something.
Correct.
Even if
Want
it's
me to
the
help you out
neighbor.
with this?
How often does somebody at an open house buy the house?
Never.
Never.
I think
Us,
twice.
not twice.
Twice for me,
Couple times.
Twice.
twice for me.
Yeah.
I've had it probably at least 5 times, if not, well, maybe not that house, but new construction. I used to do a ton of new.
You were hosting
construction.
open house.
Yeah, for my builder, and I almost always double ended it, and a lot of times sold that house, or I did a pre-sale for them.
Right.
That happened all the time.
Yeah, I didn't have that luck with my builder, but 2 I've had come in and 1 I double ended.
Yeah,
One
I-
had a realtor, but they came in through the.
Is that
open house.
Bridie?
Probably 80% of the time I
Is that
do.
right?
He didn't come in through the open house.
So. And this is just a little bit of establishment before we dive into how to actually, things to look for and think about when you're hosting, but. There are realtors today that say open houses are useless. There's no, it's not gonna sell your house, so we can't do it, but the bottom line is, they do, they don't. But, so sometimes it does, I like it because it adds, it. For a seller, I like it for an open house for a seller because it will kind of bring it back to the top of the list, right? What are the notifications on the MLS? New listing,
Open houses
open houses and price reduction.
back on market.
Oh, of course, back on market, yes.
I think every listing we had open houses, wasn't always us doing the open house. But every single listing we've had, the buyer came from the open house.
Especially
Well,
in this market.
I think that it's a great way to help your sellers out when you're first on the market
I'll take
with
a
all
picture
the
of that.
walkthroughs. If they are living there, it's a lot easier to congregate them all to a 4-hour period on a weekend. If
Hold
you're
on.
going live on a Thursday or a Friday. So that you can, so you're not getting all that interruption, especially if they have small kids or dog animals that they gotta get out of the property. For them to be able to just have that time that they leave the house and you can direct all the showings to be at that same time. I think that also helps with the competition aspect of it, when there's, multiple buyers in the house at one time, there's fear of missing out. So you're getting that energy up, and more likely to get an offer as well. They don't know if you've had 20 showings in the past 2 days, but they do know that you're having all these people through the open house at one time.
It helps with the feedback too.
It does help with the feedback as well.
In this market, because people want to jack their prices up and you're telling us, hold your horses. Have people walking through saying, I wouldn't pay that much for this, tell them they get a clue.
Yeah, and then also for sellers, it helps with your SEO results online, which Billy alluded to a little bit, not just with the MLS, but with Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, all the websites. Every website you go to has an open house link. So if you actually publicize your open house on Monday, you will be one of the very few listings that are actually on that website under open houses. So your listing is getting a lot more activity. Also, with the algorithms that they have in place, these major websites do, they know buyers like open houses, so they will organically make your listing rank higher. If someone's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, if you have an open house coming up, they will rank it higher.
You can also do a property boost on any core under open house, and that increases it even more as well. They do a special ad for that, and it goes out.
That you paid for it.
You do pay for that, so that 3 days, $45. Okay.
I use open houses as a part of my strategy, as how I sell houses. Are you able to articulate to a potential seller how you sell a house? I have a strategy. So first thing, this was happening all weekend too. First thing I do is I'm going to sign a listing under coming soon. We don't always go coming soon. Sometimes we push it too late, things like that. But first thing, it's going to be coming soon. And that's going to be at least 4 days.
Bailey's number went up.
Oh, good.
So 4 days of coming soon because I want to go live on a Thursday or Friday, personally. After that, we're gonna let it marinate for a week. Then we're going to do an open house.
Why do you let it marinate? What I do everybody else.
So people can see everything, all the marketing, maybe down online.
Build anticipation.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I skipped a step here. Open house, then go live.
I mean, go live then open.
Exactly. So go live.
Thursday
So
or Friday.
coming soon on a Thursday or Friday. Marinate the weekend. We're gonna go live and do an open house that first weekend.
Unless you've got offers.
Unless we're in contract, I'm still doing that open house.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
And that's been part of my problem this last year. It's one reason why I said I'm doing it once a quarter, because most of the time they're sold before I can do an open house.
and I purposely, I haven't hosted my own open house for a little bit, but I want to give the people who host for me an opportunity to find their own business. And so I'm gonna make sure that it goes live on a weekend so that I have time to do an open house. I want my name out there as much as possible without having to, so. I mean, other than setting up a sign. All right, then we're gonna skip one weekend. And we're gonna do another open house. It's hard writing like this. All right. If by that point, we don't sell the following weekend, we may do a price reduction, and the following weekend, another open house. But I build in to my schedule 3 open houses. I lay this out to my sellers, and I also build in my price reductions. The price reduction comes after the second open house. Because by that time, they're on the market for 3 weeks. And especially in the past couple of years, if you're on the market for 3 weeks, there's something wrong, probably price. Does that make sense? Does anybody have something similar, something different? What's
That's
that?
the current average days on market, right?
We are
Gone up to like,
17.
Yeah,
okay.
it has gone up.
I think a lot of the people are asking, wanting to get too much.
I only go 2 weeks if I feel a home is overpriced. as part of my listing.
And every seller is gonna be a little bit different. I adjust this strategy as needed, but as a guideline, this is kind of my base. And then depending on the home, depending on the client, depending on a lot of factors, you know.
Do you
situation.
tell, like, I tell my sellers that, you know, I usually have open houses at my house, I just don't always host them.
Mhm.
I like to give people here opportunities to get more buyers. And so I usually let other people do it for me. But, I tell my seller that we're doing an open house to kind of get exposure and for people, the neighborhood to see that it's active and all that, but a lot of times you're not gonna sell it by that. And the licensees wanna, you know, realtors wanna do it so they can get additional buyers. I mean, I'm very honest, transparent about why open houses are done, and why people wanna do them.
See,
I
I
wanted
think,
to
I
understand.
take Jocelyn's tack. I tell them that it gets us up there in
Yeah.
SEO. It, you know, I have flags on MLS and Zillow and everything, which attracts more buyers to their house,
Mhm.
which is still true.
Absolutely.
And yeah, normally someone else does them for me.
So let's talk a little bit about open house etiquette. Open house etiquette.
Tank tops and cut up Daisy Dukes.
Boom, boom, exactly. Washing cars out in the driveway, no. I heard somebody say before, you wanna dress like you can afford the house. Just dress like you can afford it. The two ways, different personalities dress different ways. You're either going to be professional, but relaxed. As if you're hosting a party in your own house. Or you need to dress like an art dealer. This is not mine, I'm presenting this. Does that make sense? So one of the two, I tend to lean more toward dressing relaxed professional. Because I'm not a very good presenter like that. Does that make sense?
I think too stuffy is too stuffy though, like. I
So
personally, at least, you know,
yeah.
And on top of that, it's like knowing your market, like we're not in New York. Like
Right.
presenting high rise apartments, you know, we're in Alaska selling families, you know.
We have a
So
duck
it's like-
tape ball for God's sake.
I'm gonna be completely open and honest here. If I'm going to an open house, let's say with my client. I will. If I see a man dressed. As the second way that I described, like an art dealer, jewelry dealer, something like that. Not just in a suit, but with that very presentational way. If I'm gonna think car salesman, get away from him. If I see a woman with that same presentational persona, I'm okay with it.
so you're saying.
Because I can accept a professional woman a lot more than I can accept a professional man.
Well, that's why 77% of women are realtors and
Right.
they're only.
And honestly, if you look at this town, there aren't a lot of really successful men that dress like.
Right.
I mean, that's the truth, right? There are a lot of women that dress like that, but
Yeah, look
they're
at-
not successful.
Look at Richard Branson and Elon Musk and.
Ellen?
Elon.
So that's just, was that?
I was just gonna say, further back up, it's like all the people you've seen who are like that throughout your life on TV or whatever, even these real estate shows and whatever, all those guys are scumbags, so. I
Okay,
just rub
so
it.
just so FYI for my team, you dress professional for your.
I always do.
But what is
Okay.
professional? That's the whole point.
I would prefer slacks than a nice dress shirt.
Well, I have
What
slack
about
in our,
sport coat jeans?
No,
what about our team?
I'm not sure.
What about our team shirt? Is that professional?
your team shirt is something,
Alright, well,
But
that's a
it's
polo,
just-
that's casual, that's not like a suit.
but at least it's branded, so they understand that you're not just the seller hanging out your damn house.
No, for
So-
sure, but we're talking like.
They are on Jocelyn's agenda, everyone's dressing for.
That sounds perfect for a team meeting.
I would dress for something assorted to to that for, I mean, have y'all seen me at open houses? Am I dressing casual? Am I wearing something?
No, I know, but what he's talking about is like a man dressed up in like a really nice suit
No,
or
he's
tie.
not. He's talking about a professional attire. He said he didn't limit it to just the suit. I would prefer slack and a dress shirt for my people who are open. Okay. I just wanna make sure I'm clear.
I've never seen somebody selling jewelry in just, you know, they're always in a suit, so. That's what I took it when you said it's somebody dressing like a jeweler. I thought, okay, he's in a suit, so.
Right, and that's one way of doing it. Your personality matters. Being authentic matters. If that's not your personality, don't do it.
Unless you're adult.
Now Jocelyn's team, if it's your personality, you just admitted you don't mind somebody dressing relaxed professional. Which is the other way to do it.
I wouldn't call a nice dress or shirt and slacks, like,
Well, our team shirts.
Yeah, none of us.
wait, not, wait,
No.
no, hold on.
I never said,
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's got a nice collar shirt.
I never said casual. I said relaxed professional.
Mhm.
If you're wearing a shirt with no jacket, that's relaxed professional.
Okay.
Just so that I'm clear on definitions. Cool.
See, when I do open house, I'm in jeans, a button down shirt and a sport coat.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's authentic to you. That's awesome.
I
Now-
don't go to open houses dressed in jeans.
Huh?
I don't host open houses dressed in jeans.
You grew up in the South, Gina.
Well, I grew up.
I don't
saying that
dress like either. I dress like I do at work.
Yeah,
Me too.
except for when I'm
That's what I'm
told,
saying, like,
except
right
for when
now.
I'm told to wear jeans.
Correct.
So
None of us show up naked, that's good.
if there are more questions, if there's questions or you want suggestions on dress. Come talk to me, talk to Jocelyn, talk to Gina, or talk to Todd.
So here's a question, because you said dress like you can afford the house, does that mean?
But I meant later. I meant later. But yeah, the bottom line is, yes, if you're doing a $1 million open house, you might dress up a little bit better. Than what you come,
That's when I make sure there's no holes in my socks.
there you go. So, good point, bringing us to our next point. I feel silly when I am in a suit and socks. It's silly. Kathy Fernandez taught me this with my first open house.
Bring your house shoes.
Bring your house shoes. Slippers or another pair of shoes that will not mark up flooring and has never been outside.
Doesn't that make people coming in keep their shoes on?
No, because I'm greeting them at the door and I'm telling them to take.
Please remove your shoes.
And your shoes are by the door. Like your other.
Street shoes, yeah. The other thing is booties. Bring some booties for people. It's an investment. A lot of them will walk away, but some people from the lower 48 aren't used to having to take off their shoes before they come in a house. So booties might be a good idea for you. You don't have to do it, right? But some kind of house shoe makes me feel a lot more comfortable and confident in an open house. What about eating?
You better not be eating in one of my houses.
Is there anyone who thinks eating is okay in an open house?
Well, what do you,
Are
like,
you talking
clarify
about
that?
the client, the buyer, or are you talking about yourself?
Yourself.
No.
No.
nobody.
We host, our first listing, we hosted our open house, we had a charcuterie board out there. But people- Hardly anybody touched it, but.
If your seller
And then.
wants to put out cookies or something, that's on them. They are now understanding that someone will be eating in the house. Me personally, I'm not touching a single cookie. I'm not going to be eating. I don't want to be caught with food in my mouth. I'm not bringing a lunch because I don't want to smell like my lunch. I don't want the house to smell like my lunch. Is there anybody who disagrees or like wants to argue this?
Does that include beverages?
See,
No, I bring water and a coffee and a thermos. I mean,
I bring water and I also like if it's winter time, I'll bring like hot apple cider. And I always like to bring hot apple cider because, and I keep it kind of hot, so they have to like stay there longer. And it warms their hands and then they also like stay there till they drink it. And if it's hot, they don't drink it so fast
right,
and they don't take it with them because they don't want to bring it in their car.
right.
So they stay there and they look at the house longer because they drink their hot cider. And it makes the house smell really good
Right.
too.
I think it depends on the house.
I did that for new construction.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
The open houses I've done, there's lengthy time between people coming,
Absolutely.
so maybe even an hour.
Yeah.
You're there by yourself, so. About food, I think you could get away with that if you have to, but it's usually from 1 to 4 anyways, you should have eaten already, so.
You should have eaten already.
I'll bring a meal replacement shake. I'll have it in the fridge. If I get hungry, I can drink that in a second and it doesn't smell. It doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't create any mess. It
Power bar or
doesn't-
something.
Yeah, or something of the sort like that. You shouldn't be hungry, but you should have prepared.
Something that was drilled into me on the team was, don't make trash.
Right.
So if I do have a power bar, that wrapper is going in my pocket. It's not going in the client's trash. I don't know the theory behind that, but it's good. I agree with it.
You're there to be professional and eating your lunch isn't professional.
Right.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be eating at a listing consultation.
Right.
So why would you be eating in their house?
Being courteous.
You're getting paid to work, not even.
And then I don't know if our COVID regulations have lifted, but when COVID regulations came out, there was no food allowed in any open houses. So any cookies or anything, and I pretty much stuck with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're still in a pandemic, so you can't have any food." That's what I'm like.
Here's something. What about music? Does anybody put music in their open house?
Sometimes.
This isn't etiquette necessarily. This is a preference thing. I'm curious.
Sometimes.
I put the little speakers
You do
in
music?
3 different rooms.
What kind of music do you put on?
The radio was like really low. It's like 8 office.
So when I first got my license, we had Briny and they had really nice in-home speakers and so the sellers requested that we play like smooth jazz.
Mhm.
And I found it actually,
All the-
it set a good mood, like, and weird, like during that time, I don't know, April. Like we were getting tons of walkthrough, we'd have 3 groups in the house at the same time, but now I'm finding more. But what he said, it's like maybe we'll get a person in every other hour, whatever. I've been getting skunked for like whole weekend, Saturday and Sundays, not getting one person in 8 hours, so it's really slowed down a lot,
I
but
can sign you.
yeah, you did, yeah. That was the same weekend that I literally had nobody come that week, but. Music.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Bailey just said that for the holiday season, she'll have music.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing that I want to touch on etiquette is if you're hosting for someone else, you do the open house. Don't sublease to someone else. Does that make sense?
No. People do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Should go back to
Hell
the,
no.
it's like a referral, goes back to the original person that did
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
I don't understand, so.
he's saying like, if you couldn't make it, you call back and you don't tell me that you're having someone else host.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not.
I've never had anyone do that. I've had people call up sick or something of the sort like that, but I've never had anyone sublease.
Sure, yeah. But just like as a baseline of etiquette, is there anything
Oh, how about showing up early and leaving after the fact?
Oh,
Let's talk about that.
all right.
3:59.
Don't leave at 3:59. Leave at 4:05.
350.
Then also,
It's
like,
your open house, that's your.
you need to.
You wanna explain that to the seller?
You
Huh?
need to be prepared. I mean, for the open house, you need to be there early, you need to have signs out early, you need to have the lights on. You need to have everything ready prior to the time it starts.
People show
5
up,
minutes prior.
people show up 10 minutes early.
Yeah,
People show up 10 minutes early. So
If you show up 10 minutes early to the bank, they open the door for you?
I don't care. Do you think I'm referring people to go to the bank lobby? No, I want someone to refer me.
The banks have customers. I have clients. I want those people to be my clients, so I'm gonna offer better service than a bank personally.
It's a little bit of a crapshoot at an open house, so you're
Sure.
hoping they convert to clients.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna give myself the best chance, so I'm going to show up early. I'm gonna have my signs posted, I'm gonna have my lights on. And I'm not gonna tell anybody, sorry, we're closed. If they show up as I'm leaving the house, guess what? I'm opening it back up.
Right.
Yeah, and also if they're talking to people at the end of the open house, you don't rush them either. Yeah, you stay there until 4:20 if need be, you know.
but one safety thing is when you are when you're in the house in the very beginning and you're going to turn all the lights on in the whole house, keep the front door locked while you turn all the lights on, then come back and unlock the front door.
Are we gonna talk about safety stuff also?
We'll talk about safety stuff in a future sales meeting.
Just for open house, one little thing, I think that's important. 'Cause I
Yeah,
had,
yeah,
I didn't like know that in the very beginning, and I had someone that like came in on me and I came upstairs and they're there and scared the crap out of me. It made me really uncomfortable, so
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for safety, especially if you're, I mean.
I mean, I
internet is
think
much a
safety,
Risk, but
safety is a big thing to me that I consider as sometimes not doing an open house, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly like Billy can kick someone's ass, so Billy's not worried about it,
Yeah.
but like, you know.
John Burger's always good.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, we need you guys out for feeling numbers like you, man.
I've done that.
In fact, I need to open houses to weekends, for years, so you guys need a man.
I've had countless calls. From ladies around the office. I don't know why the guys aren't calling me, but I mean. Even if it's just, hey, I've got a weird feeling in my gut. Let me share my location with you right now, and then I'll text you after the showing's done, just to let you know everything's good. That's fine.
That's smart too.
I mean, if personally, if I have a weird feeling. I'm concealing, that's it.
that's you.
I've been trained with a firearm, don't just bring a firearm if you haven't been trained with one. Because that's the quickest way to get your gun stolen and you get kidnapped, yeah.
Or worse.
Or worse.
Never turn your back to someone.
Or get your, let your car get pinned into the driveway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will be going more in depth on realtor safety specifically. At a sales meeting.
I'm gonna, for anyone who wants to join, have an instructor who's willing to help, do a class. So if
Self-defense
anyone
class?
wants to do a self-defense class, let me know, and then I can get numbers as far as, you know, price and all that good stuff.
Is it ladies only?
No,
Perfect,
no, men, I mean, it was realtors in general. That's
gotcha.
what he wanted to do. He's like, well, I don't really want to just do the ladies, because there's obviously men out there that need, you know, tips. and-
Yeah, but there are ladies only classes so that, you know,
Yeah, no, this is.
it creates an environment where they feel more comfortable. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, okay,
We finished etiquette.
there's a checklist, open house checklist. I'm gonna go ahead and write down the checklist. As we said, number one is setting up signs. How many signs are you guys using?
And
Depends
on the neighborhood.
there's multiple approaches that are both on like decently traffic here. So let's say in between Elmore and Lake Otis, I'll go all the way, signs coming this way and signs going this way to the property, you know, and like you said, as many corners as you need, so. I would have 10.
Yeah, that's-
It's the worst, right? Kathy always said you wanted to look like a party. So it was our practice to put especially something like Lake Otis and Tudor, I'm putting it on at least 3 of the corners of Lake Otis and Tudor, pointing the same direction. Make sure they're pointing the right way. But I'll use multiple signs per intersection to walk them to the house. As we get closer to the house, I cut it down and down and down. Does that make sense? So I might do 3 on Lake Otis and Tudor. If it's Kempton Hills, I'll put 2 on Kempton Hills. And that's, it turns into something else, but sure, Lake Otis. And then I'll walk them in from there with 1 sign. What's that?
Like I was trying to change those names.
Yeah.
Oh,
At Huffman.
When I was doing mine, I had signs made, you know, like this. It said open house with my name on it, phone number, and then an arrow on it. And I would start like at a major intersection and go back a couple 100 feet and put one, and then again at the intersection. And I would also use like the 9-foot feather flags that just said open house on them to draw attention. And then I would put one at every single intersection where they could turn all the way to the house. So it might be 5, it might be 30 of them.
Yeah.
But I would have one, so there was no question about where it was, and people would see my name on a sign every time they drove by.
I thought it was really interesting at the economic forecast, this last time they were talking about how our city has no kind of directional signs. Like you have no signs to go to the zoo, like to get off the interstate, you have no signs to like downtown, that, yeah, just the airport, but you have no signs where parks are located or anything like that to help people, guide people along the way. And they said people don't want to be on their Google Maps searching and mapping themselves to these destinations, but they want to be directed or be reaffirmed while they're on the way there. So having lots of signage keeps them intrigued and keeps them going to their final destination.
Yeah.
And also put your name out there. So in the beginning, I didn't have any business, but everybody thought I was doing all this business because I was doing open houses for other realtors. And every weekend they see my name out there on the sign.
Absolutely.
It's the exposure.
Exactly.
Do you guys do balloons or anything like that on your signs?
I have.
It depends on the property.
Whatever.
Another trick Jocelyn taught me is at the beginning of the open house, pull the flyers from the sign.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they come in.
I'm gonna put that right here.
And we put our signs out on Friday.
So why pull the flyers?
Make them come in.
That way they don't drive up, look, say, oh, it's overpriced and drive away.
Yeah.
Kind of like
too
when
much.
you're in a garage, so you kind of drive by and see what they have.
Or flyer, I think you really.
Lost some signs when it comes to like during snow removal time, like
Yeah.
with snow plowing. I don't know, I've had them go missing, I've had them be destroyed. But I mean, it's the cost of business, like I just bought some new open house signs for the team. Because yeah, you start off with 16 and then you're down to 4 and you're like, where did they all go?
Is there anybody doing a formal invite to the neighbors?
I have done that before.
I've included it. Sometimes if I'm doing a postcard for the new listing, I'll put the open house date
There you
on the postcard, so I don't know if you'd call that formal, but.
So,
5 and 10. Door knock, 5 houses on each side and 10 across the street.
there you go.
I don't know.
So. Yeah, I mean, whether you're mailing them or you are. Or you're knocking on the door, actually inviting people, it's a good idea to get yourself out there. And you should do this if you're hosting. Regardless if it's your listing or not. Hey, just wanted to let you know, there's gonna be an open house this weekend. Feel free to stop by and give us your feedback. Tell us what you think about it. If you give the neighbor permission to come judge someone else's house, they'll be there.
Yeah, and you learn so much about the neighborhood
Mhm.
when they come in, because they'll tell you they're the neighbors, they already been invited, they're not embarrassed to tell you. And you say, what do you like most about this neighborhood? And then when the people come in that aren't from the neighborhood, you can tell them what the neighbors like the most about the neighborhood. And which is very beneficial.
We've ever done like a neighbors only hour before. So tell the neighbors, hey, we're gonna open up an hour early just for the neighborhood, and then we're gonna open it up to the public. So if y'all wanna come in an hour early.
Yeah. That's good. Stop them from talking crap about the neighborhood before the general public is there, I like that. And when I do that, I'm trying to get in front of somebody, not so that they like me. It's to see if there's a good connection there. Cause I need to like them too, otherwise I don't wanna work with them. Cool. Okay, open house kit. Does anybody have some kind of grab bag, some kind of open house kit full of things? What's in yours, neighbor?
I have 4 bins. So I have,
There's a lot.
I do, because it depends on, the feel of the house. So I have this one where if it's like an older quaint house, I bring my little pop-up chalkboard and I write on that. Put something cute on the desk, and then I have my regular bin, which is like the stuff that you should have, your flyers, your business cards. But I like set it, because I'm always decorating. So I like set it up and make these little visuals throughout the house. I put flyers on the beds, and so it depends on which one which type of house you have. But I also have one where it's like the banners with the little flags on it. Some houses you put that banner on, it's stupid, but some it encourages people to come.
I have a cleaning kit that I bring with.
Oh, love it.
That's one of them.
So what's in your cleaning kit?
It's one of them.
Just like Clorox wipes, and sometimes, I've had Windex in there before. Just to be fair, I don't have my open house kit anymore. Bailey actually gifted me though 1 year a open house carrier, because I had all this random stuff in my car, and she gifted me something that I could carry my kit with. I mean, the standards would be like the flyers, your personalized marketing, a list of the nearest homes that are similar in the neighborhood.
And we'll go into that too.
So that's from the kit, cleaning. If you're, in my opinion, if you are just sitting there at an open house, you should either be calling people or you should be cleaning the damn house to make it more presentable. No one's going to come and spend time with you. Don't look at me like that. No one's going to come and spend time with you if they feel like it's a damn dirty house. And so like when I hosted with Zach one time, I pulled up and the damn leaves had like grown in like in front of the garage and in front of the steps. And so I weeded for the first 15 minutes that I was there. I was like, no one's gonna come to this house if it looks like a jungle from the outside.
So some common things that I like,
Yeah.
small broom and dustpan, Clorox wipes, trash bags. Because maybe there's in these windstorms, right? There's wrappers and things that just kind of collect in the yard. No. You shouldn't be saying, oh, that sucks for the seller. You know what I mean? Help them out a little bit. Don't take on the liability, but help them out a
If
little.
they see you on their camera picking up trash too, they're gonna be like,
No, that's
okay.
So one of the other things that I have in the kits is signage. I always bring to open house and I put them like in the bathroom or in the bedroom on the staging and stuff. One of the big ones I do for signs is the 3 unique things about this house. And like I had one house where if you looked out the condo, you could see where you could park your RV. So I put that in the bedroom. I'm like, take a peek out the window, that's where you can park your RV. And here's the view and stuff.
But that would be more from the listing side, not from like a hood side, right?
I know whenever I do someone else's open house, I do all the homework and I put sign. You can compose.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Or something similar, yeah.
Can I
Paper towels and bullet.
Well,
say that about etiquette? And you guys have been doing this a lot longer than me, you tell me. Because we've had other people host our open houses and it's a little disappointing to me when I'm like, hey, earlier in the week, I'd be happy to take you by the house, show you around. Oh, no, I'm good. And I'm like,
Then maybe that's not the person you want to do.
so, I mean, am I wrong to be a little bit like,
Conversely, I don't do that. Here's the address, you're welcome to go, but I'm not going.
I'm not saying as a listing licensee, we have to do that, but I'm disappointed when someone who wants to host an open house is not willing to listen to what I want to share with them
Mm-hmm.
about that. To me, that
Maybe
seems a little,
It's not the person you want.
that's what I'm asking, am I wrong to feel that way? It's like,
Maybe we should make that a requirement. So house, we're gonna meet Friday, Friday.
well, I don't know if I wanna. You know, I might not have time to do
Totally
that.
make yourself feel-
Exactly.
So, Gina just mentioned somebody, and I wanted to say it again. Toilet paper,
Yeah.
just in case, toilet paper. Along with toilet paper, I have heard, luckily it hasn't happened to me yet, but I have heard some horror stories that make me put a plunger in there now. Just in case. I put a plunger as well. Cool. I want to talk about marketing. So I'm gonna have a copy of the disclosure. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the MLS printout because that has a lot more information. Buyers feel like they're, sorry. Visitors to the open house feel like they're getting a little bit more than just the flyer.
I put all this in a binder.
Yep.
So then after the open.
Oh, I make copies and I hand out the copies.
So I just put it in the binder.
So you can look at it, but don't take.
You leave it there for the whole listing of the house when other people are coming.
You don't do takeaway pack.
I've been thinking about that. But
I do.
Yeah, no,
Like
so
back,
Give them your name.
a takeaway packet goes
Yeah.
into every listing.
So, disclosure, MLS printout, if you want to go into it, it might be good to have high, low, average of the utilities. As part of your takeaway package.
Should be in disclosure.
Well,
Well, not with the
but here's the cost, right? High, low, average.
So let's clarify, takeaway package for me is when a buyer and maybe their agent visit the home at a showing, not at an open house.
I do this for my open houses.
Me too.
Well,
See, I don't,
try.
because that gives me the opportunity to say, I have this information, I have this list of similar listings. If this house doesn't work for you, give me your contact information and I'll send it to you.
No
Make
way.
everyone sign in for every single.
the way that I'm
They have the
hosting,
option.
nobody gets anything except through me. I'm the gatekeeper. If we're talking about it, I'm gonna give this to you. If I'm feeling you out, you don't seem serious, you're not interested at all. It doesn't really come up.
But you
So-
have everyone sign in when they get
Absolutely.
there with all their contact.
I sign everyone in.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because sometimes people say no.
We sure will, but first thing I wanna do before we talk about that is Jocelyn touched on it before. Gabby calls it my hand jam CMA. I'm gonna print out list form, everything that's gone on in the neighborhood, or kind of how we got to the price, I guess, of activity in the neighborhood. It's just in the MLS list form, and then I'm writing all over it. High, average, low, sales price, price per square foot, days on market. Now I'm the neighborhood expert. I have all of the information on the neighborhood, so now I look like the expert. That can help me justify price. That can help me justify to a neighbor that I know what I'm doing, maybe you want to list with me. That can, but it's very informal. I go very informal with it. I'm writing on it and copying my handwriting. So that it's something quick. If they want something more presentational, let's set up a meeting. Does that make sense? That's going for everyone also. That's a face like you just smell something bad.
No. So I was talking about what's active in the neighborhood.
Only the actives.
Yes, I
Okay.
would be very cautious to handing or talking to people and giving them close comps in the neighborhood if they're not setting a listing appointment for you. Because you're giving out confidential information at that point in time, because we're a non-disclosure state.
Hmm.
So I'm going forward more for my people to capture buyers that are coming in, that maybe this house isn't really for them. So they're bringing the comps that are similar in the neighborhood, and I have sold many houses to potential open house people that have come in, where I'm like, oh, well, there's one down the street that's like this, would you like me to take it to you afterwards?
Yeah.
And then,
That's what I do.
I want to find a flaw in that so bad, but you're very logical. Yeah.
That's how we got my first.
Nice.
Really, that exactly.
My last open house I did, my client was like, we should do it again, and we should say this and this and this, we should, even though we got in contract that day, that morning. But I still did the open house, I think Carla was gonna do it, or somebody was gonna do it, but I went and did it myself. But they have a camera, and so they can hear all my scripts, and it was just really awkward, I was just wondering how you guys deal with that one. But
I'm gonna get that person to say, this isn't the one for me, before I start trying to capture them as a buyer.
So I
I
think
mean,
too,
the homeowner.
It's like, you should have said this differently.
The homeowner can hear, which is why,
Homeowner is-
when I talk to a prospect, I'm gonna get them to say, this is not the house for me, before I start trying to capture them as a buyer. Right now, I'm trying to capture them for this house. If you set clear boundaries, like, no, this isn't gonna be the one for me, okay, now I'm gonna capture you for something else. Does that make sense?
so I do two different things. I do, just like Jocelyn, the neighborhood, what's active in the more of immediate neighborhood. And then I also take, it depends on the price point, but say between 25 to 50,000 above and below the price point that I'm in, and pull all actives.
Yeah.
So
Two
I
lists.
figure two lists, so either they're shopping for the neighborhood or they're shopping in the price point. I got both of them covered.
That's super smart.
And I asked, are you looking specifically in this neighborhood? If so, they get that sheet. If they're specifically looking not that
Yeah.
neighborhood, then they get the other two. That's how I.
See, I don't give them the sheet. I tell them they'll get it when I get their information and I'll send it to them when I get
But
back.
remember, I've already through their information. when
Yeah.
Well, so, real quick, I want, what time, 11:30, or are we over time right now?
No, 10 to 12.
10 till 12, okay, 10 to 12, all right, perfect. I am less stressful, and I'm gonna stop jumping on you guys and pushing forward. John,
Let me know what we can talk about. So I'm curious to hear what everybody else says to people that walk into open houses about getting them to use the signage.
boom, that's next, yep. I feel good on marketing, we have a good handle, is there anything that I missed on marketing? Something that somebody's doing maybe?
What are you breaking here?
Can we take a break?
Oh.
Now that, you list your open house through Jack White, that's one thing I've never done. I mean, I do it through the MLS, I put open house Friday, Saturday.
You mean do the KB4 page?
Is that what it is?
Is that
Well, there's candy corn, but then you can have the front desk, do a little thing and they'll put it on Facebook, they'll do a little blast. You can have. the front
Like a
desk.
marketing $20.
Okay.
Okay, should we take
Take 5.
5? Let's take 5 real quick. Well, let's take 5 within 5 minutes. And then, jump back on.
It should be here, right?
Let me go get more coffee. Here we're legal then, but that doesn't mean I'm not.
Would you have a email to that? Yes.
I don't have any ones that I'll be training anytime soon, sorry, that was my last newbie.
Okay.
I only sit with them 1 or 2 times, and then, and then I don't.
It's so.
But if I have a list,
Someone from Denver. who
That
wants
you
to
post.
say how to finish.
Okay.
I can come for like the 3 hours or something like that.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't think I don't.
And,
All the things.
I wanna make sure it's being presented in the way that I want it to.
Right.
Yeah, so, if I do something like that, then the answer is. yes.
I'm gonna do that,
And then I.
they want to get on.
For
They
an hour.
want to, what that.
I think that's really beneficial, kind of like you said, with showing ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that you see the feature. I do it for the first hour of the open house. I'll just go and be like, so you can hear me.
I was just curious, but I never.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
And you're not gonna, I mean, you probably wouldn't care anyway, but
Yeah.
so you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you tell me how you want it. Like, that's what I want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and that's basically what I do.
Okay.
I have to go.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Oh, you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get it better.
So, hi. You were in my dream.
I was?
Yes, it was a really weird dream. For some reason, I was in the hotel, but I was taking my children upstairs for some sort of musical something that they needed to go to. And then I kept running into all these random people.
You ran into me?
And I ran into you and Chris, who was short for some reason. I remember being surprised when you were in my room. I was like, I was short. And we started. We're like there preparing like in the, and they're all.
I have that expectation. I tell them this place needs to be.
Well, no, I understand, and so do I, but like if someone comes in with dirty shoes, or I like,
I have no idea.
Remember how that happened?
I have.
Hey, Bailey, what was the 6 to 8?
White floors. 6 to 8
Open house
signs.
signs.
Open house signs, gotcha.
Oh, so the fellow was working or was a replacement for.
And I keep toilet paper in every car.
Yeah.
Maybe for another one.
And Janet and Bailey, just so you know, my back is turned to the screen. So feel free to just jump in with any questions or comments that you guys have.
The voice.
It's sort of a stand.
For replacement, yeah, but then because he's using the company.
When I first started billing, I did a couple of open houses and never got anybody in. Or I got people that said they were working with agents, so I said, well, it's a waste of time, so I never did them. That wasn't until I'd been doing real estate for probably 10 years that I said, I'm slow, I don't have any other business, I might as well do open house. And I started doing them. It was more to appease my sellers than anything.
Sure.
But you can't pick up buyers, make sales.
Yeah.
I told John he should become a realtor so that he could open houses. I like them, but I have all these kids. You know, someone's gonna take care of them. On
So my
Saturdays.
mom's a realtor.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got into real estate, my thought was, I'll do an open house, sell it, make a quick paycheck.
That's just how.
That
it
was
works.
my thought. Doesn't work that
No,
way.
it doesn't work. Usually we're like the support squad, like John holds open up, but I looked at last night, I helped him put up signs. Kids now, red eye or. Or.
The second open house we did, someone walked in. Can I send an offer? How do we do that?
I got an awesome text message.
In my mind,
Yeah.
I deleted it already.
while you're saying like, yeah, okay.
I need someone to come up and take the last.
Are you a realtor in Anchorage? Yes.
I got that one.
Open house.
I live in Denver and I'm a Chinese. I need.
You got it too.
It said, yeah, I don't use WhatsApp. You can call me. Sorry, I'm Chinese American. WhatsApp text was better. Well, I'm not your realtor then. Didn't get anything else from her.
Can you repeat that about WhatsApp?
I got you right here. I'm gonna read you the whole text message because we have 1 minute left. Hello, is this a real estate agent in the Anchorage area? I am, yes. Hello, I am Lee Zhu from Denver. I want to buy a house in Anchorage area. Can you help? I said, hello, Lee. I'm Billy Worthy with Jack White Real Estate, quite possibly. But I have to say that I get a lot of hoaxes and scammers. So as a policy, I don't click on links. Can I ask you some questions? Where did you find them? Sounds bad. What scammers have you met? It was my assistant who found you on the real estate website. And I contacted you. What's the problem? I said, no problem at all. Just curious where my marketing is working. What kind of a house are you looking for? Also, is it for a home or investment? Is this number your WhatsApp? We can discuss here there today. I said, I can call you if you'd like. Sorry, I'm Chinese American, so text conversation on WhatsApp is the best way for me. I say, oh, I see. I don't use WhatsApp. Good thing we're already texting. Sorry, I'm just used to using WhatsApp. You can download it. It's very convenient. I said, thank you. But it is far more convenient to text here since we are literally doing it now. Adding steps to the process is not very convenient for me. So what kind of a house are you looking for? Are you looking for a home or investment? She said, Sorry, I'm really not used to texting. I said, oh, I see. I'll call this number, Dave. I made it very clear. I'm used to chatting with WhatsApp text. I said, I'm glad you found an app that you like. We're literally chatting now.
Okay.
That's what this is. However, if you prefer WhatsApp, that's fine. Good luck finding another real estate professional in the Anchorage area who also uses WhatsApp. Have a good day. Yeah.
You took that a lot farther than me.
Overall, it's good.
I got 3 of those last week.
No, I thought
I use WhatsApp. WhatsApp.
that was that it's not new business. The point is to get new business.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
pend your listing, it does not count. Because if that's the case, you want to add like 600 to my score last week.
Yeah.
I got the same guy this morning.
Yeah, me
So is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all got.
Have a new scammer that came in. But I haven't determined fully if it's a scammer yet, but I'll read it to you. So they sent me an email. And then, what did she say? Hold on.
Yeah, what if they just go, it's like, text.
Oh, yeah, they just
Website.
look on our website and then find us. Her name's Aaliyah Howard, and she goes, hi Jocelyn. My husband, oh no, she says hello. My husband is pending orders to Fort Richardson, so my family and I have started looking. I'm looking for a realtor who has plenty of experience regarding VA loan and military buying. Also, someone who has my family's best interest at heart. My last realtor failed us. I won't know anyone up there, so I don't have anything to go as far as referrals. I'd love to speak with you more in the future, or anyone from your team would be a good match for my family. Sounds pretty legitimate. So
I haven't heard anyone call it Fort Rich in a long time. They call it J Bear.
Yeah.
okay, well, so I messaged her back. And I said, good morning. I said, I apologize for the delayed response. Everything went to junk. So I said, we can get together over the phone or via Zoom to speak about your purchasing pathway. Unless you're going to be here ahead of time, then I'd love to meet in person. Would you mind providing me your phone number so that I can reach out? Then I got a text this morning. And it came from an email address. This is where it gets a little bit more. And I said, good morning, thanks for texting, because she texted me. I said, unfortunately, it came across as an email address. And then she provided a phone number, and then I've been in meetings, so I haven't had time to follow up yet. And I'm wondering if it's legitimate or not, but I think it's weird to
I
write.
kind of feel like it's legit though, and sometimes
To write in the email and not include any kind of phone contact
Yeah.
information or any kind of
maybe
like.
she was trying to fill you out though.
You should probably reach out to multiple realtors to see who would reach back.
Maybe, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'll tell you all if it's legitimate or not, but
posted.
it'll be a new one. If it was a scam, it'll be a new approach. Because I got another call this morning from a different one saying, are you familiar with veteran buyers? And I said, yes, I'm actually military relocation certified. And well, my boss would like to purchase. I said, is this legitimate? Is it really your boss, or is this kind of some kind of field pitch? No, it's really, I'm gonna transfer you, he wants to buy. Then, damn it, it would be, you wanna be on the screen at the veterans, I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, no, I already answered that to begin with. I'm sorry you wasted both of our times.
Yeah, I
But
did
so,
I did that for a few years and got nothing, not even a lead, nuts.
you.
I give it a shot.
Kidding.
They got me when they said Ambets,
Mhm.
because I'm in the Ambets and just nothing. All right, signing in. I'm going to, before you argue, I'm going to do it the way that Kathy taught me, okay? So first things first, when they come in, I select one of my questions on my sign-in sheet as the icebreaker. Most of the time it's, hey, how's it going? How'd you find me today? Because I want to know what part of marketing is working, because I want to focus in on that. And you'd be surprised how many people come in just from driving down the road and seeing the sign. Signs are very important. And once in a while, still, the newspaper. I say still, I haven't advertised. I haven't advertised in the newspaper since leaving Kathy's team, but
Doesn't the newspaper only do the classified, what's it, order now or something?
It's
Or was that-
something like that, I don't know, they don't.
You can get a specific, it's called a,
Banner.
banner, you can get a specific banner ad and advertise that way. So, but people still read the newspaper. Or at the very least, ADN.com. So that's, you pick one of those as an icebreaker, then. The person with the clipboard has the power. I'm going to say. Either. Nice to meet you, I'm Billy, let me get you signed in real quick and then, we can look around the house, or you can look around the house, or I'll show you around, something like that. I'm the one filling it out. I want to be able to read it. Then. Or. If I'm with somebody or I get a vibe. A lot of my tactics are based on intuition. If I get a vibe, I might say, feel free to look around, I'll just want to get you signed in before you go. COVID has helped out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
People are used to signing in. Contact tracing, so you need bits of information, is you want their names, you want their numbers, you want their emails. And to show that there's a give and take, that I'm not rigid. Sometimes I'll go for either or. What's a good way to contact me? Look, don't worry about an email, just give me your phone number. Something like that. It puts people at ease. They know that they're not going to receive a lot of spam. This should be switched. Are you in the market to buy a house? Some people are just looking. So I ask them the question, then I write it down. Are you working with a realtor? You wouldn't be surprised, you guys are all in the game too. So many people don't know their realtor's name. Or they feel like they shouldn't give it. The way I overcome them not wanting to give it is, well, I just want to make sure that if you're working with Joe Blow, I want to be able to contact Joe Blow. I shouldn't be reaching out to you. So give me Joe Blow's contact information. What am I missing on there?
That's what's on my sheet,
Just that?
pretty much.
You can do it several different ways. I mean, I use an iPad and I haven't signed into the KV
We're
core.
gonna talk about that too.
I just like that, and it's just easy. The other thing is, sometimes I used to do quite a bit was a sign in, just like that had those same questions, but are you looking to buy 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, or 12 plus? So to ask them like, kind of what are you looking for? What price range, like, are you, all that stuff. Few extra questions, and then they would put it in a box for a drawing at the end. So it was like a drawing every month. And so I'd gather the information, they'd fill it out so they could, and I would say it must be complete to be entered into drawing. And I would give away like $100 gift card to get gas or restaurant or whatever. And if it's for 4 weeks, you do one every time, it's $25 a week, it's really worth it. And for $100, they'll give you their stuff. So I would do that quite a bit to try to get their information, but it is easier with COVID now.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as easy before.
Yeah.
Be honest, raise your hand if you don't feel comfortable being the one asking the questions.
It kind of depends, like you said. Some people are super easy and some people are like, I just met you, I don't.
Yeah.
You can say for safety reasons, I need to, for safety
Right.
reasons, I need.
I always put it back on the seller.
That's what I.
Yeah,
what I do.
Yeah.
exactly.
The seller wants to know who's been in the house.
Yeah.
You know, for safety reasons, the seller wants to know who's been in the house.
I'm not feeling it.
Really? I always say that.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, he's waiting. He's wanting us to respond. I'm sorry if you're not willing to fill anything out. Thank you.
That harsh?
Oh, yeah.
Justin don't play, man. That's like.
We had someone come through our open house the other day that was a real asshole, and I was just like, don't even say, like, address the comments, just let them walk through, grumble, and then leave, like, he was just like, super critical, like, what do you price that? Why are you priced here? The one across the street just at the market and it's fully remodeled and blah, 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 like, I don't give a shit.
Is that your
Get
listing
out.
over there? Are you the seller over there? Is that why you're saying this?
You know, if somebody said like something like that to me, though, I think I would probably say something like, well, I don't know about you, but I don't want people walking through my house. I don't go to the,
Well, yeah,
something like that. I'm not as,
no,
I'm not as.
no, I mean, I think, if I've asked them nicely and they're hesitant, then I'll try to encourage them of, you know, we're not gonna spam you, it's okay, just, it's for our safety precautions. But if they're adamant, they're not gonna be in the house, just like
Right.
they're not gonna be in the house, if they don't take off their shoes,
Yeah,
Right.
I mean. So. So same thing for me,
yeah.
and then they're really not in the market.
I mean, if they're
Right.
super adamant, I'd be happy to say, I'd be happy to mark on here to not contact you. I have no problem with that, but I need to know who you are.
Right.
And I let them see me right, if they're like, you're not gonna spam me, are you? I'll say, no spam. Something like that, I might reach out to you, I always get permission, I might reach on Monday or Tuesday. To follow up, is that okay? So. Is that all right? If I call you, or, if I check time? Is that okay? I get permission. I always ask. Can you, what did you hate about the house? I asked that one first. Because it's kind of funny, it lightens the mood, lets them chuckle, and then it gives them. And what's that? After they look around, before they leave, I want to check in with them and say, what did you hate about the house? Ha ha ha. What did you love about the house? That now they're gonna give something, they feel obligated to give something that they love about the house because they said something that they hated about the house. Also, we're leaving on a positive. So my next question that Kathy makes everybody ask.
Are you willing to make an offer in this house today?
Do you want to make an offer on this house today? You just said what you love about it. Do you want to make an offer?
Do you really do that?
I do.
Doesn't work.
I don't do it to absolutely everybody.
No.
There's some people that it would be interesting, you know what I mean? Like. I understand all of the signs that you're giving me right now says that you wish I wasn't here. Would you like me to write an offer?
You said it's just for me, like that much. Then why would you ask that question? You said,
Right.
It looks stupid.
Right.
Kathy asked enough questions where she can get specific, and then she says. So I know that you hate the flooring. I know that you would just be buying this to demolish the house and build your own custom house. Is this land worth making an offer today? Like something like that. She's diabolically funny. I love Kathy so much. All right.
Well, I have to say, we had two of Kathy's team do our open house this weekend, and it was great feedback. You know,
Yeah.
it was like two of the people we're looking to were neighbors. Two of them found us on Zillow. One found you on this. It was great to be able to give my seller like that kind of feedback. Clearly from this kind of.
Okay, so I do want to touch on the KV Core app. The KV Core app for open.
Oh, geez.
The KV Core app for open houses is not something that I use for open houses. But I went through it today and it's pretty intuitive. It's unlike the complaints about KV Core as a website. The KV Core open house app is easy peasy. It tracks your people, tracks how many open houses you've had, what kind of traffic that's had itself.
The only key is there's no dash on the MLS number, so it's not 22-1347, it's just 22-1437. You put the dash, it won't pull it up. So you just need to know there's no dash, and then it'd be great.
Your listings come up as soon when the first thing you have to do is identify what listing you're doing an open house at. Your listings come up automatically. If you're hosting for someone else, you got to search that up. Does that make sense? All right, but then, and it has all the questions for you. And it asks you, what are you going to want to ask? You can leave questions off, you can add other things on, but like. I customize it for this right here, then one day. Maybe I'll have an iPad, I don't know. But I could see holding an iPad instead of a clipboard, still want it in control. But I don't want Daffy Duck to sign into my open house, that makes sense? I don't want them to give me bogus 337-2323. I don't want them to give me bogus
But
information.
what does it matter? If they're not gonna provide you, they'd say it to your face, just as well as they would write it down.
To
If
be
they're gonna
honest.
if they're gonna give you bogus information, what does it matter? Like, what does it matter if they're writing it down or if they're telling it to you?
If they're obvious with it, like Daffy Duck, now I'm wasting time trying to get a hold of this person.
Mhm.
Let me know, if you don't want to give it to me, that's fine, you don't have to give it to me, so let me write down, decide not to give, whatever. Here's their comments still about the house, because I'm gonna share that with my seller.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give all the feedback to my seller.
But remember with the Katie Core app, if they say they're already working with a realtor, it will not go into your database.
Yeah.
Only if it says that they're not working with a realtor.
Well, it's
it'll go into
still-
your Database.
But will it still capture their information?
Yeah, it'll capture their information, but it doesn't go onto the drip campaign and send it out.
See, I think if you're holding the clipboard and you're asking the questions, it's harder for them to lie. Whereas they're not, if you hand them the clipboard, they can just write down whatever and you don't know. You can't see their facial expressions and stuff. So I think people are gonna be more honest if you're asking and they're answering.
Right.
But in my opinion, they're lying to me about the information. Why do I want to work with them anyway?
Right.
So what does it
I
matter?
get that point, but Jocelyn, I gotta say, I attended some of Kathy's classes and I have been implementing that into the thing. And it's true, like people can't lie as well on the spot to do that. And, like you're saying, some people just don't, the whole salesman thing, they're not in the mood. Like they're not a bad client or whatever. They just don't feel like just off first impression, maybe you're the one for them. But with a little persistence and you taking the charge of the situation and writing down the proper information, something that's legible that you can read and call them back to, like maybe you could start that relationship. So I've just found out that, holding the clipboard and signing, because I have had some unlegible stuff. I have had people I know write fake numbers down, and I think taking the agency is better.
I completely
It's me.
Okay, I completely understand having them do it. That puts them at ease. There's no two ways about it.
Right.
It puts them at ease if they're able to take control a little bit. Philosophically, buying a house puts everyone out of control. So I want to start right off the bat saying, I'm gonna fill this stuff out for you. Later on in the transaction, I want to see if you're the type of person that will let me take your hand and guide you through a transaction instead of fighting me tooth and nail the whole way. And if you're not, that's okay. But this interaction is going to let me decide that.
You tell them.
No.
Okay.
No. Here's why I'm writing down the information. No, but that's kind of the mind frame, because yeah, it can put people, make people uncomfortable. Having me grilling them. But it's up to me to not sound like I'm grilling them.
When you ask if they have a realtor and they don't remember their name, what is your response to that?
You'd be surprised how many people don't remember their names.
No, what is your caveat to that?
That's what I say.
Oh,
I don't want to appear. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, all right then, showtime.
well, I mean, in my opinion, if they can't remember their name, they're not working with a realtor.
Agreed,
So,
agreed. But sometimes it's their wife's sister's friend. Which everybody has a family member that's a realtor. So I'm still gonna try, I'm going to try to work with them, but I'm gonna work with them through making a good impression rather than bad mouthing the person they don't remember. If that makes sense. I'm not gonna say, oh. I've had clients tell me that they've heard this at open houses. Oh, you can't remember your realtor's name? Doesn't sound like a very good realtor. That's not the kind. That's not the kind of dude that I wanna be. Bad mouthing someone else's realtor, it's against ethics. Realtor ethics, bad mouthing someone else's representation in order to try to get their business. I mean, it's the same thing back when I dated. It was a red flag if a girl badmouthed her ex. It's just not the kind, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
I mean, I think there's a way to say it that is acceptable with both sides.
Agreed. I haven't found that for me yet.
What would you say?
If they said and I said, what's their name? And they say, oh, I honestly don't know. I'd be like, when's the last time you spoke with them? If you're actively looking in the market, have you spoken to them recently? And see
At my
what they
last
say back.
open house last weekend, I got 2 clients who were working with realtors and I said, oh, that's good. I'm glad you're in professional hands. Please make sure they're doing this and this and this for you. And then I follow them around and then I'd say, oh, a couple of things, just make sure they're doing this and this and this for you. And then they called me and now the clients,
There you
they're
go.
like, oh. And then they said they were.
Yeah,
I think if you ask when's the last time they've been contacted by them,
that's an awesome follow-up question.
yeah. Just, oh, then, you know, when's the last time you spoke with them? I mean, if they haven't spoken to them in 6 months, fair game.
I picked up a client this weekend because that was exactly what happened. Their realtor basically didn't have time for them.
Yeah,
And I responded to the email even though I was laying under a car. And they're like, oh, we need to hire you instead.
You got Sam and Jenny? I'm just kidding.
Oh,
but you don't know intuition wise, which clients are gonna turn into, when they walk in, you know who to spend your time with.
Yeah.
When I held an open house with George, actually Zach was there too. This couple, not couple, sisters came in. And I said, if we can't convert them, then that's on us. That was it. And.
Yeah, I mean, they told us, oh, sorry, Jocelyn, they straight up told us they weren't happy with their realtors, though. They let us know, like, right there on the spot.
People tell me that.
Oh, yeah, I'm not happy. He's lost an awful lot of offers. He's not listed what we want. I mean, we ended up losing what, 5 offers for them? They stayed with us. You know, this is when it was still, you know. Hot.
Yeah, but I kept in touch. I showed them, I mean, 6 offers. And then I was showing them like probably 2 to 3 houses a week,
But
you know, so.
if they're not happy, they're not happy. Same with Zach. We held an open house and this couple walked in and I said, these are your people. Like, you can tell. Don't force it. Don't try to make the conversation work. If it's not working, just have them sign in, let them leave. Who cares? You only concentrate on the people that you're actually building that connection with. It does not matter about the other people. You want to put them in your campaign? Sure. You want to put that information in? Sure. Maybe in a year from now, they'll turn into somebody. If you don't build the connection while they're there, you're done. That's it.
100%.
Yeah.
And to that end. When are you guys, I want to hear from some people who have hosted open houses but haven't been answering thus far. When are you guys putting that information to any kind of use?
I put it into use later that day. To the same day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Same day.
But the same day, or within the next couple of days, follow up saying thank you for coming.
All right.
If I made a connection with somebody, I usually text them like that day.
So. Open book, right? I was not a brand new realtor. I was probably 3 years in. I have a nice little. Sorry, guys, that was probably incredibly loud. I have a nice little Excel spreadsheet with this information on it that I'm filling everybody's information out. I'm going through everything. Had a very agreeable interaction with a young couple. They said they were sort of working on a realtor or working with a realtor, but not really. I said, okay. Exactly. That somebody is showing them houses, but they don't really like them. That's typically what that means. So I said, okay, can I follow up with you on in a few days? They were very adamant, they didn't want to be hounded. I said, that's fine. Can I follow up with you in a few days? They said, yes. My plan was Wednesday. I got busy on Wednesday. Friday came, they were in contract on another house with another realtor. I said, can I ask you, if I had called you earlier, would you have worked with me? They said, yeah, we liked you. And so I took that and I hung it above my office, above my desk, would never do this again. So mine is yes, that day, but then again on Monday. Especially if I don't get a hold of them. My initial call is gonna be, thank you, this is Billy. Thank you very much for coming to the open house. Is it cool if I call you, if I call you next week? Then I'm calling them on Monday and saying, starting the process of like, when are we gonna meet? If they're serious, of course. When are we gonna meet? I'd love to have you come to the office. I'll explain the process to you. We'll make sure all your ducks are in a row, I's dotted, T's crossed, and that you're ready to move on your terms. If I don't get an answer that day or Monday, Tuesday I'm calling them again. I do those 3, wait till Friday, and then I decide they're dead.
What about it? Why wouldn't you call them on Friday and say, hey, just wanted to let you know there was this open house that's gonna be going on this weekend, or there's a few houses that came on the market that fit your price point, thought you might be interested. Try to follow up with that. I wouldn't send them, if I was doing an open house in that price point, I'd send them to my open house, I wouldn't send them to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I would tell them if there were any homes that come on the market, and yeah, I've got some time this weekend if you want to go look.
Or if you don't have an open house in that price point, hey, I was gonna stop by this open house, you wanna meet them?
Yeah.
My point was, if I'm not getting a hold of them, because some people just ghost us, right?
I'd go all the way to the next week though, for sure.
They
That's
say-
me.
What it takes. I can't remember, there's a paper that says how many contacts it takes to actually get a client. It's like 10, 15 times.
Yeah.
Most 80% of the time before you actually make a connection and get something.
By the way, every time I contact, I'm sending text, phone call, and email. Hey, sorry, I left a voicemail. So call, leave a voicemail, send a text. Hey, just call when you have a chance. Then I send an email. I sent you a text and left a message for you. Give me a call about whatever.
I will never submit to Billy's open house. I'm
It's-
kidding.
It's not repeated, but some people like to work different ways.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I give them the option. By the way. Yeah, I can be annoying, but I give space, you know what I mean? It's not like if there's any Office fans, it's not a whoop. I'm not doing everything at the same time. I'll give space. If I leave a voicemail and I don't hear, oh no, I'll send a text right away. Not a big deal, just call me when you can. Then later at the end of the day, are you smirking because you know what a wolf is? Or you, okay, cool. Then later in the day, I'll send an email. Sorry, I missed it today. I'll try again tomorrow. Like I'm gonna keep them apprised of it.
Yeah.
It's not the best way for everybody. It's not the best.
I added to just the drip campaign, and the system automatically sends them an email and a text.
And now that I'm using KV Core, I probably will also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like I said, you know if they're hot to trot. So you know who you should be spending your time with. Both Zach and George picked up these people. They showed houses to them that evening
Nice.
after the open house. If someone's hungry, they're hungry. So just feed them and give them their information that they need. You don't need to follow it up. I don't let them leave the damn house. You don't like this one? You're like, they came through a $650,000 house. And I said, what price range are you in? They said 400. I said, well, let me see what's on the market. Pulled out my computer, pulled up the things. I said, George, you're able to show houses tonight, right? Yep, George's able to show houses. Which ones would you like to go look at? Boom, they didn't even leave the open house.
Right.
You know, same with that. Oh, what are you looking for? Oh, are you only going to open houses? Didn't you see what's in the neighborhood? Let's pull these up. Which ones would you like to go look at? They're not leaving. That's the point. If you build the
She doesn't
connection,
have to send an email or phone call, because they're not going.
and if I can build a connection, they'll go in the system. If they turn it into anything, great. If not, I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean. Similar, I mean, I think we can all agree. You can tell the difference. That couple that I was talking about. They had the get away from me vibes that I misread. They liked me, but they were so adamant that they don't want to be hounded. I gave them too much breathing room. I didn't have the indication, but the point of bringing this up is that yes, we know. We know the difference. Maybe newer licensees don't yet. But we're all gonna learn.
Well, hopefully they've all dated. You can tell with some lecture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I don't feel like it's a sales thing. You know if someone likes you or not. You don't like him.
Most of the time, I'm oblivious.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
You can tell. Bill,
Really?
I can't tell you how many crushes I've had. That I'm like, I find out later, oh, she liked me too? Like, you can't use dating in this.
what?
I feel more confident knowing if a client likes me than if a girl likes me, so let's not conflate, okay?
I don't know, maybe I'm misreading something in this conversation, but I will treat everybody that walks in the open house the exact same. And I'm trying to get 100% of them as a client.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, I might get 0, but they're all getting treated the same. Whether the vibe is positive or negative, the guy that can be the biggest asshole is still gonna get the same treatment as the person I just spent 20 minutes talking to.
and I have a different philosophy because I don't want to work with assholes.
Yeah.
Well,
They can go, I'll send them to you.
perfect example for any of you that have met my builder. He is an asshole,
Yeah,
but 20 years later, we do good business. You know, you just have to know how to deal with them. That's just my.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm past assholes. So.
I'm assholes. Okay, so you have, when is an open house a complete waste of time?
Never.
You could write a lot of notes during an open house.
Oh.
If you don't take advantage of your time in the open house, that's when it's a waste.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Worst case scenario, it's a few hours of quiet to do your work.
For
you
those of
always
us that
have
have
to
3 or more kids, that's like. Come on, that's.
Good time to catch up on your Facebook.
Oh,
Want to try.
Do a black one right there.
It says.
you're not.
Gina.
I'm not Aunt Gina. You have Billy in there too, right? Yeah, see?
Just couple.
Okay. So yeah, make sure you're
So
bringing,
you should put those in your open house kit. Nope.
yeah, absolutely. Bring work to do. Whether, if it's no cards, awesome. If you hotspot your phone and you have to write an offer, awesome. I've done that.
I always tell my team, ooh, flatten out your corners. You're the only one who took that wrong.
I took it, no way, I just figured I shouldn't be watching Gina flatten out her phone.
I'm on mine on my back. Anyways, if you're hosting an open house and you're planning to be there 4.5 hours or 3.5 hours, depending on what open house or time frame you're holding, you should be planning to work on your business during that 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be That shouldn't be any other time. So it should never be a waste of time because you should always do something.
Agreed.
Yep.
Is there anyone who has taken
It
a,
is. You know,
is there anyone who has taken a nap in an open house?
No, you better not. Oh,
I walked in with a, like, I was taking a nap.
because someone was absolutely asleep snoring on the couch.
Complete disclosure. I've fallen asleep at an open house.
You fall asleep sitting up.
I don't go on the furniture, I lay on the floor and I lay, because I don't want an indent where I'm heavier than you, don't look at me like that. I don't want an indent on the couch where I was, you know what I mean? I've laid on the floor, vacant houses especially, and just like, this is not, we're well overpriced, this isn't gonna be. So I've passed out, before and.
You should never tell anybody that.
How many times have you been walked in on?
There's a lot that I shouldn't tell people, but I want everybody to understand
Yeah, I
that's
think
not
I
acceptable.
And it was unacceptable. And it was like the last 10 minutes. I remember looking at the clock and I was like, it was snowing, it was a blizzard outside. No one had come by and it's like 3:30. But in my corner,
I had so much.
it was like 3:30 or 3, like it was nearing the end of time and I was like, I'll just sit down for a minute, no one's coming. And then I woke up and it was 4:15, like I slept, yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh my god, what if they would have walked in the door? What if they would have seen me? Oh my god.
Mine was worse. I fell asleep probably 10 minutes after I got there and I was asleep for a good hour.
Were you on the bed?
No. It was a nice comfy leather couch and that was the last time I sat in an open house.
I don't sit, like, I try not to sit anymore. When you get someone who pulls up, you need the energy, you're not the same. So
Yeah.
if you're pacing around, but if you get stagnant and there's not, now, like, if I'm sitting with Zach or something, maybe we'll sit down, so we're having a conversation, so it's a little bit differently, but I will not sit down if I'm by myself. Like in the nice warm house by the snow filling outside.
I mean, that's
Fireplace,
Yeah, I had the fireplace going and all the things.
on the floor, doing the CMA, waking up with my face on the keyboard. It was ridiculous.
Chair if the house is furnished, or do you sit?
It sits on the floor.
You don't sit.
If the house is furnished, I don't bring a chair. If it's unfurnished, I don't bring a chair, but
Because then you're too comfortable, like, we bring a folding chair.
Yeah.
It's not that comfortable, like, it's not
I
comfortable.
have
enough.
a folding desk and a little folding chair, when the houses are empty and
Yeah.
you're like, sit.
Right.
Yeah, you have to bring something.
um,
Or sit on the stairs if it's there. Stand all day, walk.
there was two things I wanted to touch on also.
Well, I think we should touch more on how to build the relationship.
Oh, the relationship.
Yeah. I feel like we've given the bullet points, but I don't feel like,
Why don't we do a role play?
how about
I'll
we
be
do the
the
question game?
Huh?
How about we do the question game? You have to ask a question without saying yes or no as a response.
Could do that.
And then you can just go from one person to another. Then it's everyone's role playing.
Okay.
Can you give me an example of that?
How long have you been in the market?
I've been in the market for about 3 months. now.
Have you visited many open houses? I failed.
Because that's a yes or no question.
Yes.
So open-ended questions. Now, do we go until someone fails, or do you ask? Do we have to come up with answers, or do we just ask?
No, I think it's good. So you failed, so now I have to ask the questions to
Mhm.
somebody else. and
Right.
see if I fail or she
Okay.
fails.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah, the pressure. Well, that's the point though. I mean, we're at an open house, we're all by ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So Gina comes in and I say, Gina, how did you hear about me today?
I just was driving around and saw the signs.
I drew a blank just now. Oh, I'm great. I'm so glad my signage is working out. Have you visited many open houses today?
You failed again?
Yeah.
So are you?
So I.
How many?
No, I know how many. Yeah, it's how, when, who,
Oh, it's not,
Gina's gonna ask.
yeah.
you're asking me.
Hi, I'm Gina. Can you tell me what your name is?
No.
Oh, that's a yes. or no. Yes, I can tell you what my name is.
No, you can tell me.
And I said, no.
What's your name?
You got her.
Okay.
Stakes are so low, guys. This is just sparring. It's nothing.
Hi, I'm Toby with Jack White. Is this your first, see, never mind. I couldn't do it. Yeah. Hi, Toby with Jack White. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Christy.
Nice to meet you, Christy.
Nice to meet you too.
How many open houses have you visited today?
This is my third.
What did you like about the other ones?
They all had requests.
I'm sorry, how did? It's okay, she's not the one asking. You know, I'm really sorry. Our seller did not want us to have her breakfast today. What brought you into the open house?
Just looking at the different layouts of the different homes in the subdivision.
Okay, great. Did you, do you mind telling me, did you see the sign as you drove by? Did you find us on
Yes or no?
Zillow?
You bet.
Sophia, you know,
She now she followed us to try to cover it.
I did see the signs.
Oh, excellent.
I really like the balloons. They were a nice touch.
Oh, thank you. Well, what neighborhoods are you looking in?
I'm running Bay Shore neighborhood. In Bay Shore neighborhood.
Okay, what neighborhood do you live in?
I live over by Diamond High School.
You can keep going.
I know.
We'll call it five. Once you get to five.
So then I'm asking neighbor questions?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have to go through the.
Convenient, leaving right before your turn.
I'm so outside.
Hi, my name is Christy. What is your name? Carrie. Oh, are you related to? No question. Well, just, looking at houses. How long have you been looking for houses? Over a year now. You know what neighborhood you're looking at?
Yes.
Alright, you're gonna like when people say, to buy a house, right?
How many people are looking to buy a house?
I like to look at people. So what brought you to the open house today?
Just driving around myself. It's fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, I placed a lot of signs around the neighborhood. I would like to do that. And how does this house compare to what you're looking for?
It's similar. It's a little larger than what I've seen. But
Okay, and how many houses have you seen?
this is my favorite.
Okay, and everything open houses, or do you have some?
Well, I just don't know.
Doesn't know.
What?
No, she gave options.
She gave an option, yeah.
Or you have someone showing you home.
That's how you can work in the yes or no.
Yeah.
And I see you see the signs around, do you also look online or do you drive around?
Look on. Mostly driving.
Okay, now. Okay, so Scott, you asked Laney.
Yeah, hi, my name is Scott. What brings you to?
Oh, just killing time.
This time, did you, have you been driving around this neighborhood looking at other places?
Yes or no?
Well, Lanny,
What's your names?
When is that?
Zach, so what brings you out today, Zach? Blizzard outside.
You know, I ask myself that every day.
So, yeah, I would assume that you were extremely interested in finding a house around this kind of weather.
Yes or no?
Yes, you know. I am extremely motivated.
Question mark.
All right, Zach. I feel like that's, you know him.
Hi, my name's Zach. Hey, I'm listening. What brought you into my open house? I'm just looking for houses. How long have you been looking for houses?
First one.
I said, how long has it been?
I've been looking good 3 months now. How much are you looking for? For a duplex. I haven't found many as regional residents, but I think we're. That's the final.
Were you looking to move in or potential investment?
More of both. Or the trendy contact that you're on YouTube.
What kind of house have you been looking at YouTube on?
Oh, okay, so that's the people.
Have you determined what kind of area in the in Anchorage area that you kind of narrow that down to, or?
Yeah, so I've been looking in.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
It's my team, so
I didn't
So, Max, turn.
Hey, Don, over here.
just looking for a house property.
All right, so what kind of investment are you looking for?
Duplexes.
Duplexes, what brings in, do you want to invest in duplex and budget the other invest in something?
I don't want to have too much to handle.
Okay, are you looking to, prevent you from being able to invest more behind it?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Don.
All right.
That's a good
Todd.
It wasn't too
Yeah.
You showed your expertise.
So what brings you into the open house?
I am growing my family and we need more space.
Excellent. How much square footage are you looking for?
I would like a minimum of 5,000 square feet.
5,000 square feet. Okay, so what's your price point?
I would like to stay under 300,000.
Any fixture up?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now Todd gets Billy.
Bring it on, Todd.
With goodness. Hi, my name's Todd. How are you today?
Real good, thanks.
Good, glad to hear that. What brings you in today?
I saw the signs for the open house.
That's awesome. Was it the signs at Lake Otis and Tudor or the signs at Lake Otis and Huffman?
I saw Lake Otis Huffman, that's,
Lake Otis and Huffman, good. I'm glad to hear my signage is working. How long have you been looking for a home?
just kind of starting. Nah, I wouldn't say that I'm seriously looking, but I'd like to move.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. What's the name of the realtor you're working with?
I'm not currently working with them.
Oh, you're not? Okay, well, here's my card, should you need someone in the future. But for right now, let's talk about generalizations. How big of a house do you need?
That's fine. Good job, Todd.
Thanks for the card.
That's actually nice.
Yeah.
So we are a little bit past, but how much does everybody want to hear?
Here, what?
It's up.
His-
Okay, so my question, Gina.
Yes.
Hi there, I'm Billy.
Hi,
What's your
Billy.
name?
Nice to meet you. I'm Gina.
Hi, Gina. How'd you find me today?
I was just driving around, kind of like this neighborhood all the time.
So, driving around the neighborhood, you like the neighborhood? Are you in
That's
the
fair.
market?
Yes.
The market.
Yeah.
Zach was the first one that asked.
No, I asked it.
Yeah.
And I followed suit.
How long have you been in the market?
Yeah.
You asked it too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. But,
My question sucked, but his were great.
yeah,
One thing I picked up on Zach's questions is he asked Matt a question and Matt responded with, well, it's not really within my price point. And he skipped right over that. I think that, so what I would say is pay attention to what the person's saying to you because they might give you a window of opportunity that you.
It's discarded. This
You-
role.
This is true, that just,
I hate roles.
I went, and I paid for it. Yeah, for sure.
like, what's
That's
the,
why I physically go help folks with
Yeah, for
this,
sure,
so that they can hear how you're interacting with people. And the
absolutely.
question game is probably like the most important, because you can give, you're trying to build that relationship with people. So, I feel less on the spot when I'm on the spot than actually being here on the spot. But if you felt comfortable doing it here, then
Super easy.
it'd be super easy if you're by yourself in the house.
Yeah. So we're gonna do, group photo in here.
Oh, okay, well, let's do it, I gotta go.
Okay. That's
Awesome. Guys, if you guys have any questions at all, Gina's available, Jocelyn's available. I'm available. I see Jocelyn for like, Zach.
Awesome. Great class. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
What's that?
Not right now.
Let's not.
Let me know how you want to say.
I don't know.
Um,